What's up, guys? Welcome to another video where I'm going to basically just talk a little bit about how to play fighting games and the general breakdowns I get from. Alright, so this one, I'm wagering is going to take probably the longest one to make, because no joke, I've been like sitting for about a week gathering notes in preparation for doing this video, and for a damn good reason. It's a pretty big subject that a lot of people often associate immediately with fighting games, like no matter what it is. Hell, there's even a fighting game out there or series that can entirely do combos. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, it's Killer Instinct. So, I'm going to first take it from the bottom. Assuming you guys don't know, anything about combos. Even though I'm pretty sure all of you do, but I gotta do this so I can break it down from the ground up and show you guys what's going on. All right. Also, I'm still a little sick. Sorry about that. If I sniffle a couple times. All right. So, how do we define a combo? Anyone could define it as a number of ways, but the general way I define it is a series of unblockable attacks that you can do that can't be interrupted. It is meant for doing damage or to look stylish, or one of the two. Anyway, alright, so what this means is something like this where the opponent can block. That is generally what I'll consider a combo. And I messed that one up. Also, Tekken Tag 2 happens to have this little feature where you can set it so that if a move can be blocked on like the second string, like this, then it'll immediately block it. So it'll show you if a combo is able to be blocked in the end or not, making it not a true combo string and not something that someone just says is a combo generally. Like, look at this. Even on counter hit, this isn't gonna hit. It's pretty bad, but anyway. So, now, what do people do combos for? Well, I think the most foremost idea of what they do for is obviously for damage, clearly. But let's go a little bit beyond that. Every combo you do is not gonna kill your opponent in one hit. There's no way it's gonna work. It'll never happen unless you're playing Ultimate Marvel 3 where you have the resources. But this isn't that. This is Tekken where the system is a little more balanced, but still a little broken. Anyway, so there are other ways you can do combos to like give you the upper hand in a fighting game in general, such as dropping a combo early. So as you can go for a ground game like I did there. So let me quickly do a combo that would result in like a ground game where the opponent would have to guess what I would do. So like something like this, and just let fly early, so that way they're gonna stand up into something and probably eat it too. So you have combos that lead into other combos, like let me see if I can get the good one. Like that, he just stood right into that and he ate a mid move and he just went right back down. So like if he woke up crouching, that would probably land him into the dust again. But I'm not entirely certain about that. Generally, just normal get-ups in this game aren't very safe, but yeah, you see what I mean. They're meant for resets. They can be used to look stylish, which I guess should be something like this. More or less. Something like that, to look stylish. They're also used to build meter, but Tekken does not have a meter bar, at least not at this point in time. I don't know if it will in the future or not, but in general, if you're playing a game that has like a meter, some kind of like Street Fighter or Blaze Blue or Dragon Ball Z or anything like that, combos are definitely meant to get you a lot of meter really quickly because you're hitting the opponent. Of course, you're gonna get a lot of meter for it. Alright, and then there's the ones that are meant to just straight up carrying the opponent to the wall. Which, in something like Street Fighter, might not be as important, but in Tekken and 3D fighting games, that is very important because if you can wall carry your opponent, that means you're going to be able to get a wall splat, which will then lead to a even more damaging combo. Like, hang on, let me see if I can, from here, actually get Jin to land over by the wall over there. Oops. One sec. I don't think I already used my bounder. Let's see if Armor King's got it. Alright. Bam, bam. Totally dropped that one. But anyway, you get the idea. Also, one thing to note: Tekken's damage, or each character's health bar, is exactly 180 hit points. So pay attention to that while I'm doing combos. Generally, the golden mark I would look for is anything over 90, because that means you'd only have to do 2 of those combos to kill one of your opponents, which would definitely get you around. So like, I always miss that one. Yeah, so there's damage, wall carry, meter gain, there's resets, and just looking styles in general. Now, this is a little more specific. This isn't why you do a combo, or you could, I suppose, tagging your partner in. So that way, when a combo's done, you have a safe means of tagging your partner in. So, I don't know, if you like have red meter and want to recover it, or you just want to stay alive and your current character's about to die, you could do that. That's another purpose you'd want to use it, but that's for like tag systems, you know, something like that. Alright. Yeah, that's basically that. Alright, so those are the reasons you want to do a combo. As you can see, there's a lot more to it than just looking super stylish and doing damage. Their combos have a lot more tools available to them than just straight up damage. Because again, you're not gonna kill a dude with one combo in every single game you ever play. So you want to use the tools that are at your disposal a little more. Alright, so let's talk about how you would start a combo. In Street Fighter, of course, you probably have like you have an opening move that would be like a heavy jump-in kick or something like that. Just like how would I best illustrate that? No, like that will lead into like a bunch of different things and all this stuff. But this isn't Street Fighter or Marvel. This is Tekken, where it's a little more down to earth and no, it's crazy. So generally, you have what. I'm gonna illustrate this using Killer Instinct's combo mechanics. Actually, you have your opener, then you have your filler, linkers, and then your enders. But we're not gonna do linkers at this point. That's technical stuff for Killer Instinct. This is not Killer Instinct. This is Tekken. So you have your opener move, which is your launcher, counter hit launcher, stun combo, a throw of some kind, and then you have your filler. Anything you want to do is like rack up damage or corner wall carry, and then you have your ender, which will be something like this. Nope, that's not it. Ah, come on, Bob, you can totally land it. Something like that, maybe. Enders, of course, are meant to either launch them really far at the wall, do a lot of damage, gain a lot of meter. It's generally where the people like to call it cashing out on a combo, which aka more Killer Instinct talk, because you know, gotta illustrate this shit with Killer Instinct, right? So there's all that. So now let's talk about this. Counter hit launchers. These exist in every fighting game you ever play ever. If you land a counter hit, which as I explained what counter hit is before, you'll either got more damage, you'll stun them, as in the case of Bruce here, who happens to have arguably one of the beefiest combo counter hit moves in the game. Then you got your stand launchers, which they vary. Like if you have you have the big ones that do a lot of damage. You have the quick ones that don't do a lot of damage. Like Armor King's got the same result pretty much. He's got like low damage launchers. He's got decent damage launchers. Do you have any high damage launchers? Well, besides this. But yeah, that's like getting into like technical stuff for Armor King. I'm gonna keep Bruce as the illustrated point, so you guys can understand what I'm talking about, because he's got pretty much all the tools I'm gonna talk about. And then what was that? Yeah, and then a big one you're probably gonna want to do is Punisher combos, which is I've explained what Punishers are before. They're capitalizing your opponent's mistakes. And if you're able to do it perfectly, like if your opponent does like a -14 move against Bruce, actually I don't remember if Bruce's elbow is -14 or 15. It might be 14, because this is pretty quick, but I'm not too sure about that. I know Armor King definitely has a 14 frame Punisher launcher. So yeah, you definitely want to learn your Punisher launchers, because that's gonna get you so much damage against the opponent who just likes to spam a bunch of shit. And it's That will also go into punishing game, what I'll explain later, as that'll just beef up your punishing game even more. Yeah, so, and then you have, well, combo hits are generally stunners as well, or something else. Like, hang on, let me see if Armor King is one. He kind of does, but that's more like a stun state. I don't know if that'll actually combo to anything. I hear it does, but I'm not certain about that. One sec. Bingo. Alright. You'll have to forgive me. I'm kind of juggling like a lot of information with this, so I gotta stop here a couple of seconds to see what I'm doing. Oh yeah, then there's throws. I'm not sure if these two have any throws that would wall splat. Actually, no. Hang on. I think Bruce does, which would be his 4/4 3+4. It's not exactly a combo, but it does net him a little extra damage against the wall. 50 damage. I should actually do that a lot more. That's pretty cool. Also, just does a good wall carry on the ground. But anyway, so if you're playing a Mishima and they're able to do a throw into a combo, which is like their stone head at the wall, that's pretty freaking good. That's another way that you can just fuck with your opponent and just do a whole bunch of shenanigans to them. Armor King, he does have some ground throws. Like, hang on a sec. Nah, I can vertically. No? Nah, it doesn't look like a scork. But anyway, if you have a throw that can link into a combo, that's even better. That would generally look like something like Law has, where like he could do a throw out of the ground and just immediately go into a combo. Damn, my science is going crazy right now. That's another way you can get into a combo. And yeah, that's more or less it for how you'd actually open up a combo. You have Staring launchers, stun states, anything good like that. And again, you can do this. It's also via ground game. You can then relaunch them, as I explained before. Like that wasn't a combo, but it will smack them in order to get a free follow-up, which is really good. Yeah. Okay, I knew that would work. Alright, so now let's talk about different kinds of combos, which will more or less base themselves off of what you do to start it. So like, if you do a launcher, you're probably gonna do a combo that's called a juggle. A juggle is where you keep your opponent in midair and you just keep smacking them around for more damage. They can't escape from it. It will do pretty solid damage, but juggles are pretty hard to do in general. So don't feel disappointed if you can't do it right off the bat. It is pretty tricky with timing sometimes, but you don't just keep at it. You should be fine. Yeah, that's a good juggle I can illustrate. Oh my god, Bruce is so good with it. His fucking juggles. Anyway, or something like Armor King. Like, he's got moves that can extend juggles, which is hella good. Like Dark Upper. If I can do it. There we go. I do up forward 3, down forward 1, down forward 1. Just blap him with a wall. That's always good stuff. There's something like that, maybe. Nah. Alright, so let's keep this train rolling. Now there's something called follow-ups, which isn't a true combo, but it will hit. So by definition, it is a combo, but it's not. It's really hard to explain. Anyway, so for Armor King, a guaranteed follow-up would be something like this: 4-4-3, which knocks them down, and they're in a state where they can't get up fast enough for Armor King to not get a free follow-up. So like, anything you have that hits them fast enough will be guaranteed to hit, and it won't show as a combo, but if they can't recover from it fast enough to block it, then it's pretty much a combo. Like, even though they are lying ground, they can't stamp it fast enough. Or really good ones with Bruce with forward 4, which is that, into back 2. This is a high damage. I think it's like 60 damage. Like there, 40 plus 25 I just did with that one. That's pretty absurd. Again, they can't recover from that fast enough, and they're pretty much guaranteed to get smacked by it. Really good shit. Really good shit. Characters generally do have some extended guaranteed follow-ups depending on what you're doing. If they're close enough to the ground, it'll pretty much be guaranteed. But on open ground, I don't know. I'm really not sure about that. Alright. Now, again, meter building. I might do a separate video for this to show it off, actually, but I'm not too sure about that yet. Meter building would be like, again, as covered before, doing a combo exclusively to build meter. So, like, what's a good example? Something like in like a Dragon Ball Z game. If you're trying to build meter, you wouldn't do a move that would end with using your meter that you're trying to gain. It would probably end with a lot more physical attacks than anything else. That's generally the best way I can explain it. So like, what is a good way to explain it? All right, so imagine I have like a meter down the bottom of the screen right now, and it's like 0 bars for Bruce right now. If I do like this combo, and I get into the wall, say that builds me like 1 meter. That'd be really cool, but yeah, again, just imagine it. However, there'd be a different kind of combo where it'd have like less damage, not as good wall carry, and generally doesn't seem too awesome in general, but it builds me like 2 meter bars. And of course, in the fighting game, meter is like, if it exists, it's like everything. It gets you a lot better moves, it gets you a lot better stuff, it'll let you do like super attacks, generally really good shit. So meter building is definitely like a good thing you want to do with a combo. Again, that's like a specific type. That's like a specific type of combo where you don't want to burn meter to do it. You just want to build it. That's a good type of combo you want to go for. All right, wall combos. This is where the good shit starts. So let me get in the wall. I kind of underestimated that a little bit. Hang on a sec. All right, let's go with something simple. Okay, apparently I can't right now. Alright, I'm just going to take him right to the wall directly. I love this animation. So a wall combo, or as like in a Street Fighter game or like a 2D game of some kind, it'd be like a corner combo, is where your opponent's back to the wall. They have nowhere to move but stand directly in front of you. This will highly alter the properties of what you can do in a combo. So like on open ground, 4-2-4 will just knock down. It won't do anything except it has really good damage. But it does knock away, so it can get you breathing room. But other than that, you can't combo off of it. However, if your opponent's back to the wall, it'll wall splat them, and in general, they have nowhere to go either. So they'll just wall splat, and you could go for a extended combo and just cash out a lot of good damage. That was 90 right there, and I barely put any hits into that. I'm not very good at extending corner combos myself. Like if I splat him on a wall and I try to do anything after that, I'm not really that good at like extending that shit highly, but you know what I mean. If it's a 2D fighter, there's actually this one funny term for doing something like that. It's called elevator combos. That's just pretty cool because like if you have an opponent character that can like fly or something like that in a 2D fighter, like Magneto from Marvel or something like that, I don't know. You can like just keep smacking them against the wall. They have nowhere to go, and you just keep going up and down using the fly command to do combos. That shit's really cool. Actually, if you have a flying character with the ability to fly, they'll probably have a pretty kick-ass combo advantage. Like not really exactly what I was thinking of, but maybe like Devil Jin in this game does have some flying aspects, but it's not exactly what I'm thinking of, if you know what I mean. Alright, next up. Generally looking stylish, but again, I've already covered that. Wall carry. Wall carry is definitely a good one. Like I just said, with wall combos, they'll get you they'll alter your properties significantly. So you want to get your opponent into the wall, as well as just like, if your opponent's against the wall, they'll have like a lot fewer options to escape. You have them exactly where you want them. So how do you get into the wall? You can do certain combos that actually sacrifice damage in exchange for taking your opponent really close to the wall. Like Bruce has a ridiculous wall carry. Like you can see there, he didn't really do a lot. 79 points of damage. That's not even half of the opponent's health bar. Like I said, they're hell, it's 180 in this game. But something like this, which is 3, 2, tilde forward, 1. By the way, tilde means 3, no, it's 3-2 forward 1, 3-2 tilde forward 1, which is basically like pressing on a move right after another one. So like if I press 3, I'm gonna press 2, which will do that, but I can cancel an animation by doing forward, which will bring me into a crouch dash. And then I can do that. I can follow up with a 1, which will allow me to juggle my opponent really easily. Unfortunately, it's not the most damage in the world, but it is like the backbone of all his moves. Or let's say I want to go something like this. Actually, hang on. Let me to better illustrate that. I'm just gonna set myself right up against like the wall. Where would that be? Oh yeah, battle position. All hit. Alright, so now here I am to the wall. I'm going to bring Jin out of there. Now let me show you just how, again, just how crazy wall carry can get. Oops. Not exactly what I was going for. Alright, let's flip the position actually so I'm not worried too much about this. On right. Okay. Wait. Yeah, something like that. I just took him really close to the other side of the wall from the other side of the arena. That's some pretty good wall carry. That's automatically a real good combo. If I was anywhere closer, like this space right here, if it were any smaller, I'd probably have him really close to the wall right now. But unfortunately, that was not the case. Actually, let me reverse that. So I'm on the left instead. There we go. Alright. Ah, that doesn't hit? What? Guys warranted. Yeah, I thought so. Oh, wait, hang on. This is what happens when you drop a character for a certain amount of time. Alright, that wasn't gonna hit. Ah, crap. But even without landing the combo ender, I'm still taking them pretty damn far. Yeah, like you see there, even just narrowly missing it, I'm still taking really damn close to it. Alright, reset the positions. Position settings. Off. Alright, there we go. Alright. And now there's another one called a back turn combo, which you probably know this, but if you're two of your opponent's back, they can't block you whatsoever, which is very damn good for you. This means you can get some crazy high damage on your opponent, and they can't do shit about it. So what would be a good? First of all, in this game, I don't recommend going for a launcher because your opponent's back is turned to you, so that means that their hitbox is gonna be really tricky to hit. Like, I think the best way to explain it is if I do it frontwards to them, their legs are to me, which is a bigger hitbox than like their upper body is. So like, see that? Yeah, I can't even land like a simple combo like that. It's like hop kick, down forward 1, down forward 1. Yeah, that'll hit. But again, this probably is weird. So yeah. Now, an example of something that will hit is something like. Let me get backside again. Bruce's forward kick combos into like a down. Oh wait, actually, I just got a better idea. Hang on. Something like that. 113 points of damage from a back turn. That just took off. That's actually more to the stable combo I can land with this team. That is really solid. So if you could find a way to get your opponent's backside, which is generally achieved via like sidestep, like just full on sidewalk into their backside. They're doing a big move, and you get there, you can do some pretty handsome shit to them. It's harder doing like a 2D fire because it's a lot easier for them to turn around in that game. Plus cross-ups all the range in 2D fires anyway. So not as practical there to get like some crazy shit damage, but in general, you do want to keep the concept of back turn combos in mind. They can really win you a match very quickly, especially when this is the potential damage you can land. Like actually, I think even land like a 10-hit combo would probably be good too. Like, hang on. Crap. What? That should have landed. But anyway, you got the idea. They can't block it. They can't even turn around in time to block like stuff that won't hit naturally. That's really good. Alright. So before I keep this train going, actually, I do want to cover one thing quickly. I didn't really mention, haven't covered too much yet. That's the concept of counter hit moves and what a natural combo hit actually is. Alright, so a natural combo is something where the hits, you can just throw them out and your opponent can't block them. It's like Bruce's like 1, 4, 3. You notice it's 3 hits, and usually 3-hit moves can't be blocked in this game. It'll still hit because they're fast enough to all connect to the opponent and they can't block it. Now let me get this option back on. Hang on. Standing guard. 1, 4, 3 will hit. However, something like the triple knees he has, that won't hit. Actually, I don't even know if it's safe or not. So, nah, I don't think it looks safe. So, avoid that. His forward series, that won't hit because the last hit's even high, so they can duck that. So that's not even good. But yeah, like, you know what I'm getting at. So that won't hit. What's another one that won't hit? Alright, it's good to know that will hit. There's another one I had mine with King earlier. What was it? Oh wait, hang on. It is that one. Oh. Yeah, you see where we're going with this. However, if it's a counter hit, either more hits or all of them will land. Yeah, like those 2 will hit. If it's a counter hit, then that's not it. All of those hits will land. Never assume that just because you have a crazy long string and all the lands will hit on all the hits land on one opponent, that it'll work on all opponents. That's generally not going to work, especially in a game like this where you can block shit if it goes beyond a certain amount. If you're on the receiving end of a lot of hits, there's generally a good way to avoid that, is because counter hits will ensure more hits of a string will land. Just don't press the buttons. Just don't press buttons. Just sit there, block, and you should be fine overall. But yeah, like, hang on. Here's an even cooler one. 4-2-1. If done fast enough, it will all come out in pretty good sequence. However, you can highly delay the last hit. However, if you delay it and the opponent's blocking, they can block the last hit. Again, this has to do with frame data and stuff and how fast they recover. Go for full string, they can block it, delaying it, and then going for it, they won't be able to do it. However, I think on counter hit, nah, the window for getting to delay is a little tricky. Like, yeah, if you delay it, then it'll all come out. So, rule of thumb, if you do a counter hit, or if you land a counter hit, which you can tell because larger hit sparks will come out. It also sounds different too. Then you'll be able to do like a full string of moves that will be pretty damaging to your opponent. It's really good. So definitely learn the ins and outs of what like a counter hit will be, and what strings you have at your disposal to do that. But again, don't go spamming shit like this, because your opponent can block a lot of stuff. I see a lot of people online making this mistake, like with Asuka and Capoeira characters, because they'll just assume everything will hit ever. No, it won't. It won't hit. Those aren't combos. Those are just block strings. Block strings are categorized different because like block strings would be something like this or this. How do I describe block strings? Alright, block strings are generally strings you use that have a chance of hitting your opponent. Like, going back to Bruce for a second, like I said before, this string won't hit if it's natural hit. However, this is a late version? Oh shit. There's a late version, I guess. Alright, where the hell is that low version? I know there's one in here. Hang on a sec. I know there's a version here that like you can press down and it'll do a low version instead. Alright, this is really cool. I guess that'll work. Oh, I guess not. But anyway, you get what I mean. So if alright, I'll just like give you an example. Since this is mid, if there was an option to do like a low version, then that'll hit instead. Or like, they can only block it, the mid version, if they're standing high, they can only block the mid version if they're going low. So that's what block string would generally be something more like that, instead of just like, I'm gonna spam this all day and assume it's gonna hit. No, that won't work, dude. I'm sorry to say. Anyway, so now that all that shit's out of the way, time to get into some technical shit. This is I'm gonna cover a lot of things. This is the reason why I had to delay this video for quite a bit, is because I want to get everything. I want to get like a whole bunch of like different mechanics from a whole bunch of different fighting games, what they can do, and the ins and outs of like a lot of different combos. Alright, so I explained before that generally, actually almost always, if you do a combo, you won't kill your opponent with it. If you do just one combo, it's not gonna work unless you have like a really cheap ass character with like maximum meter. That's the kind of exception to the rule, but in general, you won't be able to do it. So, why is that? It's because there's such a thing in this game called hit stun decay, and hit stun decay also occurs in a bunch of other fighting games too. In Street Fighter, if hit stun decay will mean something where your opponent will recover in time to be able to block a certain move if you do too many moves or you delay them long enough. So like, it's the amount of stagger you put into your opponent with like a successful combo string. If you're too late or you do too many hits, then they'll recover it, and the more hits you do, the more chances they'll have to recover. So, but you can overcome that with a good amount of input. But anyway, so what would that look like in this game? Well, you can probably tell that you can't do a move forever in this game. Right? So let me put my ass against the wall so I can better illustrate that. Nope. I'll hit. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see there, the last hit did not connect. That's because for every time I hit the opponent, they get farther and farther away from me. Like you saw there, I can only jab a certain amount of times before they get out of the combo. In like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or Street Fighter, they've just pop out of the move faster and go into a regular standing state faster so they can block. But yeah, so that's why you'd want to like know what your combo is going to be, how many hits it's going to be, why you'd want to practice it, and what it can accomplish, etc., etc., etc. This also is the reason for the existence of resets, because if you pop it early, your opponent won't know they can escape it early, and they won't suspect that they can block it. The faster the reset, the better, because that means that they won't be able to do shit about it. Or if you could just like want to go for a certain move, something like that, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so that's generally what hit stun decay is. It's something that is there to prevent a combo from just one-shotting anyone in a game ever. Pretty good stuff. But anyway, so now we have cancels, but again, I can't illustrate this in this game exactly, but I suppose like a good example would be like Bruce's standing 3 into 2, and I cannot believe that is not a natural combo, natural hit. Alright, let me see. Chris Warner is more in that string, but apparently not. Anyway, so like 3-2. If you hold forward at the end of that forward, you'll cancel the animation and go to something else. But canceling more applies to just outright stopping the animation of a move, so that you can just return to neutral state and you can do other things. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, that has a that entire combo system pretty much revolves around canceling, like guard canceling charge moves. I'll probably do a separate video for that so I can illustrate all the points I can't cover here. But that'll be later. And yeah, so canceling I can't really do in this game. There I can. Other examples would be like FADC and Street Fighter, where you do like a focus attack. You cancel a certain move with a focus attack and then you dash forward. So you kind of return to, you recover from the animation a lot quicker, so you can do something else. That's the goal with canceling, really. You stop the animation of a previous attack that's landed, so that you can recover faster and be able to do another move a lot quicker. So like, something like this. If I already canceled the first move of this launcher, the second one would come out a whole hell of a lot quicker. Also, I'm just pretty bad at the timing just in general. Yeah, you see what I mean. Alright. Now we're getting... Alright. I already talked about infinites. They're juggles that would just last forever. There used to be an infinite game with like Ancient Ogre's machine gun kicks against the wall, but that was quickly patched out for good reason. Infinites, they do exist in certain games that do have hits on decay, but that assumes you're in like a very certain situation, and where you're like, holy shit, how do I explain this? That's like a very certain scenario where frames are weird and you have like with like a certain godlike inputs, you're able to like just completely override it. It has to do with like yeah, I don't really know how to describe it too well, but generally like you do an input fast enough that your opponent can't recover. The system doesn't register hits or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, infinites and pretty much an endless juggle depending on what you're doing. But yeah. Alright, game specific mechanics. Alright, so for Tekken Tekken 6 to Tekken Tag 2, which is this game, there's a system in place called bounds, and what this allows you to do is highly extend your combos. I guess it's so that damage will become a lot more possible in a Tekken game. So, and I noticed this is present in Virtua Fighter as well. I have no idea why, but anyway. Bounds allow you to extend the combo, and that generally feeds into like combo systems across all platforms, like X Factor and Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Killer Instinct with some of its instinct mechanics. Virtua Fighter is the same thing as Bounds. I don't know why that is, but anyway. Street Fighter, oh my god, Street Fighter. Like EX moves there. FADCs. Yeah, you get where I'm going with this. Oh, and Roman cancels from Guilty Gear. I remember those were interesting. Anyway, so there's a lot of like system mechanics in each and every single fighting game out there that can allow you to get better combos and allow you to do a whole bunch of cool stuff. Depending on what fighting game you're playing, definitely learn the ins and outs of what your system is, so that way you're able to take full advantage of it and be able to just bring hell on your enemy, so that you can just do a whole hell of a lot of stuff. I'm curious about something. Nah, I'll try it later. Anyway, damage scaling. This is where it's gonna get a little funky. So damage scaling. What the hell is this? I explained before that, well, with hits on decay, your opponent will be able to escape your combos faster. And there's another flip side of the coin with doing really long combos. It's called damage scaling. This means that the more hits that are in your combo, the less damage each and every single one of them is going to do. So, alright, so let me explain that. Let's do some math here. So, standing guard. I'm just going to have him stand. Nah. That will do 56 damage by itself. That will do 33 damage on itself as well. But when you put them together, the damage is not going to be entirely there. So let me show that off. Yeah, so like because the first hit was like 40 points of damage, and each subsequent blow I did has a pretty substantial amount of damage in its own right. Theoretically, that should all equal to like 200 points of damage, shouldn't it? Not so much. If you notice, next to my damage counter, it's right above the combo meter wherever I'm doing a move. Next to 28 there, it says 135. This actually measures the hits damage scaling in Tekken. So when it starts off at a pretty decent number, then it goes down to 40, and then 45. That was entirely backwards. I don't know why I said that. Hang on. Yeah, you can see the more hits that are in my combo, the lower the number is going to get. Again, this means that it's going to do only a certain percentage of what the original move's damage would do. So, like, let me get him a wall splat. Yeah, again, this means that you can't just flood your combo with like 20 jabs from like martial law or like a whole bunch of like just like small hits, because at the end, when it gets to a certain point where it's just so low that it's not going to matter, you should probably just abandon combo altogether, because every hit you're doing is not going to amount to much. Like, as you can see, these jabs, they don't do anything by themselves. Even with 5 hits, I only did like 26 points of damage, and each one always does 9 points of damage. So by that point, I'm only doing like 3 or 4 points of damage with each jab. Not very good. This is a general rule. So a general rule of thumb you want to do is you want to have fewer bigger hits in your combo instead of like a whole bunch of small hits, because a whole bunch of small hits, the damage scaling is just going to be too much, and your combo is just going to fall flat on its face very quickly. That's kind of what I think is one of the downfalls of Bruce, is because his crazy cool wall carry ultimately takes its toll on his potential damage output. Poor Bruce. Yeah, like you saw there, it just kept going down and down. There's no really other way I can really explain damage scaling besides that. However, there is one exception to this. I actually did miss something earlier with how you can end a combo, and it's via doing a throw. And you want to do a throw at the end of a combo because sometimes, maybe it's because throws are affected kind of weirdly by hit stun or stuff. Like you saw there, damage 20, 100%, despite the fact that it was at the tail end of a combo and it should do like no damage. It's because I speculate it's because Tekken registers more strikes as hit stun decay instead of like actual like just anything that does damage in general. This makes Armor King's Instant Shining Wizard really cool, because no matter how many hits are in the combo, when he lands the Instant Shining Wizard at the end of a combo, it'll be unscaled and it'll do maximum damage, which is 20, which doesn't sound like a lot by itself, but considering it's unscaled and every other move you do at the end of a combo isn't gonna be that much, that's pretty cool. You know, it's like, I'm pretty bad with doing Instant Shining Wizard, you have to forgive me, but anyway. Let me do an actual combo with it. Nope. Yeah, I'll just try like my bread and butter. Hang on. Wow, I can't believe that just dropped. Holy crap. Anyway, but I'm not sure if this damage scaling for doing a throw at the end of the combo accounts for all damage scaling across the board, like for like other fighting games as well. But it's generally something you do want to keep in mind. Like, experiment to see what throws will do what damage at the end of a combo, and if it's worth doing or not. I also think it's just a cool way of looking stylish in general at the end of a combo, but that's just me personally. Alright, just frames. This is where it gets pretty sticky. So let's say Jin here does a move that's like minus 14 frames. As I said before, Armor King does have a 14 frame launcher, but it's only 14 frames if you get like the maximum, like the perfect input, which is 4 neutral, down, down, forward, and then 2, or triangle in this case. Problem with that That's 4 different inputs you have to input on every single frame exactly, like the fastest input you possibly can. And remember, each frame is 1/60th of a second. This means that it's gonna be pretty fucking hard to land. So, this is generally what refers to a jet frame. You have to land a move or a sequence of moves on perfect frames, like exactly. So, this requires a lot of training, lots of muscle memory, and getting a certain amount of luck also. Misha modes are definitely like the showcase of what Just Frame would be, what their electric would God Fist. Because if you land, not only do you get the electric by doing down forward and +2 at the same time, but also you're gonna need a hell of an input with like landing extended combos, like with any Mishima ever, especially with electrics. Me, I can't do this because I'm not that advanced of a player, and also I'm playing with a PS3 controller, so there's only a certain amount of stuff I can get away with before we start talking just frames in it or anything like that. Oh, he actually, Armor King does have one just frame on him, like actual move just frame. It's his back 4, which if you press that 1+2 at the exact same time that the move lands, you'll go into a throw animation, which makes it pretty cool. I like it because it's a Stone Cold Stunner. It's pretty cool shit. I used to watch a lot of wrestling as a kid, sue me. But anyway, just frames, if you want them, you can practice shit out of them, and you'll have some of the best damage in the game you could possibly imagine. Highly utility shit. There's a lot of just frames, like 1-frame linkers in Street Fighter 4, but that's Street Fighter, not this. Why am I burping so fucking much? Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Buffering. Okay, this work is gonna get kind of cool. All right, so if there's any one recommendation I can give for just practicing combo, just practice the fuck out of it. Just get the input down, and you should be fine. However, there's a shortcut you can do. So let me actually go ahead and turn on command history, so that no, not input delay, hot information, command history. There we go. All right, so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so normally in this string right here. Nope. For that, you need to press 4, 4, 3, 4, and then to get the bound move, the elbow at the very end, you need to hold forward. However, if you press forward the entire time, it will still come out. There's a trick to this. It's because if you're doing a string in Tekken, if you hold forward the entire time, the forward is not going to affect any of the moves in the string whatsoever. So again, if I were to just do it like exactly, it probably look more something like that. If I were to do it perfectly, nope, nope, it would look like pretty much like that. However, again, if you hold forward the entire time, the forward won't affect any of the hits in a pre-existing combo except for the one at the very end. Like, look at this. I'm holding forward for like most of this combo. I'm literally just holding it for like every single 3, 2, 4 till the forward 1 I can get my hands on, except for actually pressing 3 itself. Only time I'm not pressing forward is when I'm actually pressing 3, which makes the, oh my god, that just took him like wall to wall. Hang on, let me see that again. Jesus Christ, that's pretty cool. But anyway, there's a trick for this. It has to do with like input buffering. And let me get Armor King so I can show this off quickly. Alright, so Armor King's throw here. This is going to come back to combos, but just give me a sec. Armor King's throw here, Giant Swing, is actually all this input right here. Forward, neutral, half circle forward, from back to forward, and then 1. This is an absurd amount of inputs that only after a certain amount of practice I've managed to get the hang of. However, you can cheat a little bit and play system a little bit. So I can buffer it into like that move. I can buffer into this. I'm not too confident with the timing of that. Hang on. Nope. Nope. There we go. And there's something like that. All right. So what the hell am I doing? Because you see me input the command before the the previous attack animation he's even done. This is a trick called buffering. It means that I'm hiding, well, basically hiding input commands into a previous input recovery. You'll see this a lot in some 2D fighting games, like someone hiding like, oh my god, fucking Zangief's like inputting like 2 full circles into like a combo. Oh my god, fuck, like a 720 motion on it, like a D-pad or something like that in order to get like a throw out. That's just insane. But I see a lot of people who actually hide that circle motion into like another move, like a jab of some kind. Like, see here, if I just input the up manually, because there's an up in there, I'm gonna jump and it's gonna look fucking stupid. So what I'm doing is I'm hiding the input into another button, another command input, which will still read on the chart there, which is everything that's coming out. So that's what buffering refers to. It's hiding inputs into other inputs. And it gets pretty fucked up. But you gotta remember like positive frames. Like this move 2-1 leaves you at like +5 on hit and it's safe on block. This makes it, like, in my opinion, one of the best jab strings in the game because it gives you such good advantage. Because of those 5 frames, you have another 5 frames to enter this input right here. Meaning that since it's already 10 frames, it's like gonna be 9 impossible to get out of. This will basically apply to this as well. Like, so that you can, as long as you're getting the inputs out at the exact input that you need them, you'll generally do them. That's really the best way I can describe it. Basically hiding inputs into other motions and doing them into moves that won't be affected by additional inputs whatsoever. Like, again, this string right here, not affected at all by me holding forward the entire time. As well, I can just like mash it also. Hang on. As you can see down there, I'm pressing 3+4 now. And the move's still coming out. Again, it's because it's a pre-programmed move that as long as the input's red, it'll still come out regardless if you're pressing another button or not. But generally consult like some like GameFAQs or YouTube videos or professional players if you want to learn more about that. These are generally shortcuts that allow you to do combos a lot easier, as well as a lot of other tricky shit. Alright, next up. Alright, enemy size. Now this is gonna aka the size of hurt boxes. So as you can see, Jin here is about a medium average size player character. It's not too big, not too small, just about average human size, as I guess the best way I can describe it is. So that means that I'll probably be able to land average combos on him. However, if he were someone like Yoda size from fucking Soul Calibur 4, I would not be able to land shit on him because the size of his hip hurt box won't allow me to do anything. However, if I'm finding someone like the size of who is like Astaroth from Soul Calibur, Zangief from Street Fighter, generally very big characters in general, I'll be able to get a lot more damage on them. It especially applies to this game too. Like, the bigger the character you're doing combo on, the easier it is to land a combo because their hurt box is increased to such size that you're able to do much easier combos on. So yeah, when you're doing combos, sometimes do factor in like the size of the opponent. If you're fighting a bigger character, you can either do your standard combo and get out easier, or do like an advanced combo. That would be impossible on a character of Jin size. Or if you're fighting a smaller character, probably don't rely on combos so much as just like other moves that will probably be a more beneficial use of you than that. Alright. Last thing I want to talk about in the technical section is stance transitions. Now, you see me doing these for the entire tutorial so far with Bruce here. It's because stance characters have access to a lot more. They have access to some pretty interesting combo potential. So like, if I were to just use Bruce standard, or like, hang on, Armor King doesn't have any stances that are really worth talking about. He has one, but that's like really useless. Hang on a sec. Let me actually take the input delay off. There we go. He has this, but this basically is just like a way of getting him getting the full crouch. I guess I got like crouch enough, but no. Anyway, this is why I have Bruce here. Down forward 4. This transitions into his Muay Thai stance. Muay Thai stance is like a new feature of his. I don't know if it's new as this game or if it was first introduced in Tekken 6, because it's honestly been a while since I played Tekken 6. But anyway, stances allow you to get a lot more combo options than if you're doing like play a character regularly. So like, this is also his way of like getting his like most his best bound move. Crouch dashes can be considered stances also, but for sake purposes of this, I'm not going to do that. So like, again, something like this, you won't really be able to get a whole hell of a lot of damage or a whole hell of a lot of like combo variety. That's why he wasn't really that great in Tekken 5, but he was still pretty usable. However, when we start implementing his stances, which is really the simplest things ever, because you just gotta press, as soon as you do the input, he'll automatically do the stance transition by himself, which makes doing combos with Bruce severely easy because you don't have to worry about any auxiliary inputs. Alright, so stances, as you can already imagine, are just like input commands that allow you to get into like a certain pose or whatever that will let you do advanced combos, or just different stuff in general. Like you don't even need a stance to like do something specific with a character. You can do it like, you can go into stance to do a mix-up. You can go into a stance to like high crush someone, have access to different moves. Like for Bruce here, he has like an input. I completely forgot he could do that actually. Hang on. I should try it on combo sometime. But anyway. Armor King has the potential by himself without needing it, having a stance transition to have a pretty substantial combo potential already. Bruce, without stances, can't really do a lot, but with stances, you see where I'm going with this. If your character has access to any stances, assuming you didn't look them up beforehand to see if they can do any cool combo shit, definitely look into it. I know characters in this game that are very stance heavy is someone like Lars, someone like the Capoeiras also. Again, because I mentioned them, definitely like Mishimas because of their crouch dash stance. Because for purposes of this, I'm going to call them crouch dashes, or no, I'm going to call them stances. So yeah, stance transition mid combo. Well, generally looks something like this. To a greater or less degree. What was hit? Yes. Holy shit, that's pretty cool. I literally just taken wall to wall with that one. That's pretty sick. But anyway, you see what I mean. Stance transitions, you definitely want to learn for each character that you have. Where is position settings? There it is. Okay. Whoop, that's not it. Hang on. Okay, back to the cool spot. Alright. Now I'm just gonna get to like general advice I can give because we're actually nearing the end of this right now. All right, you have a training mode. Use it. There's no, just spend like, for any given character you're trying to learn, just spend a minimum of like a couple hours just fucking around with them, doing new combos that you never really thought of before. Like hell, I can get, just before the tutorial, I was actually experimenting a lot with Armor King because he's a character I absolutely love using, and I was finding some really crazy ass stuff. Hang on, I just dropped it at the very end because I've got the input. There has to be a way to land afterwards, but anyway. Just because you're using a character and you have like a preset combo that you already have, doesn't mean you can't make up your own. Like, in fact, that might actually be better because if you make up your own combo, like shit like this, you can learn a lot about a character's ins and outs of doing their combos. Also, nope, that's not it. Don't the experimenting part doesn't just extend to just memorizing your inputs. It also goes across the board to like different shit. Like experiment with, for example, Armor King's inputs. Like if I do an input like this, then I can get some longer early hit combos. Yeah, yep, there's sniffles. Crap. Thank you, Cold. Anyway. Like, for example, do you want to, like, try a wall splat him before actually going for a bound? Because that'll have a huge effect on your combo potential right there. You might get more damage, you might get less damage. You can balcony break, which I'll explain that in a little bit. But, yeah. And generally, if you know what each move you're doing, it's the weird shit you can do, then you're gonna have a much better time with actually learning the character. Alright. So yeah, know your moves, know what they can do in like mid combo. Like I just found out that nope, that's not the move. Down back 2, for some reason it sends them ridiculously far. I don't know why. Yeah, you can see that alone just wall splat him. I have no idea why. That's like the same shit as like this. I am not doing our inputs, but anyway. Next up. Oh yeah. Also, if you have pre-existing combos that you know of, like this shit I'm doing with Armor King right now, don't be afraid of just messing with it yourself. Like seeing what you can do. Like I don't know, like doing one less down forward 1, which is like the stomach jab, in order to go into this. Because that might yield some really cool results to you that you didn't know beforehand. Again, just like experiment with the combos, make them yours, see what kind of cool shit you can do with them that maybe I didn't think of, maybe some pros didn't think of, and couple that with knowing what all the inputs do already. You're probably gonna have a pretty good time with building this shit yourself. It gets pretty cool once you start messing with inputs by themselves. That was not what I was looking for. Oh man, I gotta learn this more. Anyway, so, yeah. Oh yeah, if you're new to a character, just start slow. Like, before you actually start cracking open the combos, like say you're doing this, but you don't know the timing of pressing like down 4, 2, 1 at the end, which is this move. Just do it on upper ground. Just like experiment part of a combo that you don't know of. Like say, dark upper. Say you're trying to do like multiple times of the combo. I don't know why you would, but anyway. You don't know the timing of it. Just like practice on upper ground. Practice the input itself. So, and just once you have a solid understanding of what it is, then you're really able to start busting open with them. Gutex recently said that if you can do a combo 10 times in a row comfortably, then you're ready to take them online and you really know what you're doing with them. Otherwise, just keep practicing with them. You'll get the input down as well as muscle memory. Muscle memory is also a big thing when it comes to doing combos, especially with practicing them enough. Alright, so yeah. Last thing I can do, well, actually, no, there's a couple more. This list is longer than I was expecting. Consider the opponent's position while you're doing combos. Like, so I have it in the middle of the stage right here. If I were to, I could do a move, or I can go for a combo right now. Or, wow, why am I dropping down so much right now? I could bound early, so that way I get maximum damage and I'm able to take him to the wall pretty respectively. Or I can get a little ballsy and push him all the way to the wall and then go for a bound. So that way I'm able to cash out max damage. And I'm not risking any screwed up inputs. If you're really close to a wall, I'm crouch dash there. If you're really close to the wall, moves that will wall splat or just carry him closer will definitely be worthwhile in your combo inventory. Wait, hang on. Oh, now I'll practice that later. But anyway. Or if you're not playing on this stage and you're just playing on a stage that has total open fields, there's no walls whatsoever, then you won't want to do wall carry. You'll just want to go for straight up damage or anything else like that. 2D fighters, there's no such thing as endless stages, so you don't have to worry about that. There's always gonna be a wall that you can exploit nearby, and yeah. I'm not sure how much that applies to like wall carry would actually apply to a Street Fighter game either. I think it'd just be like straight up combos, but anyway. There's that. And yeah, or if I'm way on the other side of the arena, like let me push Jin really far away from all. Not this one, but the one on the other side. Then knock him down. Instead of going for a wall carry, because I probably won't get him there anyway, I should just go for combo that'll just do pure damage. And look at that, just got him all the way to the wall anyway. How about that? But anyway, you won't want to do like wall splat material. You just want to do straight up damage. So yeah, if you sense the presence of a wall nearby, and you can generally do it by watching the walls in your background to see where you are. Like right now, we're really far away from the other one, so I'm probably close to this one. Yeah. Or if you're like facing the other way, you won't be able to just turn around on a whim. So just go for other stuff. And let's see. Oh yeah, always practice combos on both sides. What I mean by that is you have the muscle memory to do it perfectly on the left side of the opponent, but you won't always be on your opponent's left side. When you're doing online stuff, you might be on your opponent's right side. So if I'm like this, then I have an entirely new input window to work with. I think that's close to the wall actually. Anyway, yeah, always learn combos on both sides of the opponent, so that way you're never at a disadvantage and you're never more likely to drop a combo. Highly important stuff. And I just dropped that anyway because I forgot what I was doing. Nope. Wait, what does that do? Oh, that's kind of cool. Alright. Definitely also learn like input shortcuts, because they're always going to help you out in Pickle no matter what you do. Like I explained before, as long as you're holding down after you launch them and you're going for this string of moves, as long as you're holding forward, it'll come out, as well as the elbow down, which will get you to the splat or the bound. Yeah, any input shortcuts you can think of will definitely be cool. Like if you're doing some crazy shit and you're pressing like 3 different buttons at the same time, that could help you. But yeah, anyway. Oh yeah, and if you're doing a really long ass combo, you're gonna want to memorize the inputs. Like, not necessarily this game, but more something like Marvel vs. Capcom, where you have like 50 or 60 hit combos, and only about 20 of those hits are actually to come from doing the super up to very end. You're gonna want to do two things. You're not just gonna want to memorize what inputs to do, but you also want to know what each one of those inputs is. So like, I know that for Bruce's extended combos, you're gonna you want to learn his advanced shit. However, let's say I'm just reading it on paper, like down forward 2, forward 4, 3, 4 into tags, and then doing this. Yeah, that sounds great on paper, but A, I don't know the timing of that, and B, I don't know what those moves actually physically look like. If you have a physical, if you can physically see the moves, then you're gonna have a much easier time trying to learn them. Well, actually, the boss fight didn't it? But especially just mess around with the moves themselves. Like, if I'm gonna do a little combo that has like a 3+4 in it, which is pretty good cash out damage for doing a combo. I know what it looks like. I know it won't launch it very far when you're at the end of the combo. I know this carries very far. I know the input, and once you have the muscle memory, it becomes ridiculously easy to perform. Wow, that didn't do it all. But yeah, learn the ins and outs of your moves so that it becomes a whole hell of a lot easier. Alright, so now I've thrown all this shit your way, and possibly the most scatterbrained possible way I can do it, despite taking very careful notes. Now I'm going to show you stuff about the Tekken's combo system that I've already explained. Or not at this point, but I will pretty soon. Alright, first of all, Tag Assault. This thing, when I'm holding Tekken's Tag Tournament 2 is a very unique game in the Tekken series because it's not a 4-button fighter, it's a 5-button fighter. It's 4-button in the fact that you have left punch, right kick, left kick. But then it has a tag button which allows you to do other stuff. So I'll explain that in a sec. That's going to be very important for this actually. Alright, so for bounds, like I said before, Bound moves were introduced in Tekken 6, allow you to splat your opponent off the ground, and depending on when you do them in a combo, when you place them, you can get different types of combos like wall carry or anything like that, or like certain amount of damage, you know, generally all that good stuff. Alright, so, however, in this game, it actually combined bound as well as doing tags, so that you do something called tag assault. Tag assault is when you press the bound move and then +5 at the very same time, so that you bring in your opponent, your tag partner, and you can do they crash in, your opponent blasts off the ground very, very ridiculously. So it's like a boosted bound of some kind, and then you're able to do a follow-up combo. This is very big. This is actually what makes Tekken Tag Tournament 2 pretty much like almost a touch of death game, where if you because each combo, if you have good input, does over 90 points of damage, and you have only 108 points of health, your opponent's probably gonna die as soon as you do even 2 full combos. So yeah, Tag Assault does that to the system. Only drawback is that it gives your opponent's partner rage, so they can like tag crash in, which I will showcase right now because I haven't actually really done it in a while. Where is it? Rage for partner on. Alright, that's not it. Oh wait, I gotta be like lying on the ground and stuff. I'm on the ground. 1 + 2 + 5, or nope. What the hell was it again? That was wrong input. Hang on. What the hell was it? Oh wait, that's right. I got the wrong character and crap. Bruce doesn't have any moves that will actually put him on the ground, so let me adjust that. There we go. So I'm lying on the ground. My partner has rage. I can tag him in with this and let him steadily tag into the opponent and all that good stuff. Pretty important, because if you're trying to reset your opponent, they won't be able to do it until they'll just get smacked in the face by this asshole. But anyway, yeah, that's also part of tag systems in this game. Tag systems in here allow you to do a lot of crazy shit. And then the last kind of tag stuff you can do in this game is something called tag buffering. Tag buffering is when you do a tag bufferable move, and then during it you press 5 as well. So you do, like, if I do crouch dash 2, which is my dark upper move, which is basically my Wind God Fist, if I press 2 + 5, or if I do the move and I press 5 at the very end of it, or just like when it hits, I can tag in Bruce and I can do an extended combo. And what that would entail is I can then do an extended combo with it too, and I get extra solid damage. This is also great because when I do that, like, you're gonna see my opponent has like a certain amount of health or red health when I do that. Let me see if I can actually land this. Like, you see there's this chunk of red life, their entire red life bar is flashing at that point. This means that when I cash out the combo, they're gonna lose all red life, so they can't recover it. Pretty good, because if they tag in, they're tagging their partner, and then they're gonna start regenerating red life. And if they have no red life to regenerate, it's even better. So let me see if I can get a half decent combo using this. Nope. There we go. So yeah, you can see that even though I just took them down to 88, I took off 80 points of health, they still lost that first 40 because that was before I did the bound, which allowed me to just chomp off all the red health at once. Certain tag assault tag moves like this exist in a number of games like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. What else? Not Mortal Kombat, not Soul Calibur and 4, but anyway, you know what I'm getting at. If you have a tag feature in a game that you're playing, learn them so that way you can maximize potential damage you can get. Alright, now let's talk about balcony breaks. This is where it's going to get pretty cool. Alright, position settings. Not there. Is there a way I can do this that I'm facing the balcony? Yeah, something like this. Balcony breaks are a special kind of trick in this game. Oops. Or depend. It's very stage dependent. Like if you smack your opponent against the balcony and it breaks, then you're able to get a further extended combo starting with your partner and all that good stuff. I remember it. Personally, I don't experiment with balcony breaks too much, but it does allow you to heavily extend combos depending on what you're doing. So with that, then there's floor breaks, but unfortunately I'm not the right stage to be doing floor breaks. A floor break would be like if I did a bound, not tag assault bound, but I do like a bound, tag assault, and I do a move that would bound them again, then the floor will break, and they bounce off the ground one more time so that you can get a fur follow up. That's pretty cool shit. Alright. Wall combos I've already covered numerous times in this walkthrough so far, so I'm not going to explain it again. Alright, so now we have all this shit. Now I'm going to try to bring it all home with one particular combo. Like, where would be a good place to do it? Oh yeah, that's right, hang on. Well, I guess that's really the closest I'm going to be getting to a balcony break right now. So I've been trying this out for a bit, and unfortunately I don't think Armor King's combos are going to really let him reach the other side of the arena like this. Yeah, I don't think so. Wait, unless I do this. Ooh, that's an idea. Hang on a sec. Alright, what I'm going to do is... Crap. Okay, Bob. Other side of the arena. There we go. That was almost it. Ooh, that didn't take him brave. Actually, it's a lot far from the point of impact to the wall that I was expecting it to be. But anyway, yep, I'll just about do it. That's all the stuff of combos I could possibly cover right now. I just noticed there's dudes down there. That's kind of funny, actually. Alright, well, that'll just about do it for this. Yeah, that did take longer than the other tutorials, but not as long as I thought it was going to be. But anyway, so that'll just about do it. Remember, practice your combos, depending on what your game is. You might have a lot more practicing on your hands than you normally would, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. Shit, I can't believe that didn't work. Alright. Yeah, oh well. That'll just about do it for right now. Whenever I get back to this, considering that I don't think any of these parts are going to really be as extensive as this one in terms of detail I'm going over. Might show how to like fight some really spammy opponents. I don't know. That was the original one I was going to do before I started dropping like a couple weeks worth of work effort into this. But anyway, yeah, that'll just about do it. Alright, so Armors with Knowledge. I hope you guys can go forth and start really wrecking shit up. Just remember, don't make the combos too long. Try like decently stylish, and always go. If you're playing a game like this, generally go for damage, but depending on what you're doing, you may want to be a little conservative. Model the combos after your playstyle. That's definitely for sure. And also model your combos after what your character's good at. Like Bruce has good wall carry, so of course you want to use him for wall carry. If you have like a real defensive character, you might want to use him for like gain a lot of meter or like end with some throws or something like that. I don't know. Judge when you want to cash out damage or when you want to play it safe. Like if you know you're gonna like say if you know your opponent has like 100 hit points, you can go for a combo that does that much damage, and you could probably steal a victory. Again, that's really up more to judgment than anything else. So, yep. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I might get around to doing another one of these pretty soon if I'm not sick. See ya.